scholarship. For me, it's not a free senior high school. It's a scholarship to certain students. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Okay. So you are suggesting that there shouldn't be any kind of cut on the aggregate. It should rather be free for all, whether you've passed or failed. Is that what you mean?
No, whether, you see, passing is a normal thing for everybody. You cannot have aggregate 37 and you call it a fail. If it's 37, the person will definitely get to school. There are many who have come to me and they have 37. I traveled, I got back the day before yesterday. I was away for 6 weeks with my family. And I got back the day before. And yesterday, my house was full with students with aggregate 37 and above. And they wanted support from me. And these are the people who come from deprived communities and schools that did not have the best of it to give them the best grades. Are they also not Ghanaians? So what do we see this free senior high school policy as? For me, like I said, it is a scholarship. It is not free senior high school.
So what would you suggest for us to place the margin of the aggregate cut?
The margin should be that those who are qualified to get into school should have the free senior high school. Once you are qualified, you have 36, 37, and the school admits you and gives you the opportunity to be in school, then you should be given the free share. It should not come with saying that by saying that if you don't get certain grades, that means if you are, it's just like those days. You get distinction. There are some particular schools you can go. There are some particular schools you cannot go. You're qualified. You cannot pay your school fees. It is about the school fees. It is not about the aggregate here. What we are talking about is school fees. Free. We're not talking about qualifications. The qualification criteria will be determined by the schools. But this policy that we're talking about is not about criteria of qualification.
In fact, I'm a little bit abstruse on your qualification. How would you describe or your description of the qualification here? One way or the other, you are saying the qualification will be determined by the schools, and yet you are saying it should be widely open so that
the schools will determine who qualifies, what aggregate one is qualified to be in the senior high school, admitted into the senior high school. If aggregate 40 cannot take you to the senior high school, that means automatically you cannot even go to the senior high school if it's free for you. Your aggregate does not give you the qualification to get to from the BEC. There are grades in which when you don't get that grade, you're not qualified to get into senior high school. That should be determined by the schools, the Ghana education. But the free education policy is for every student who is qualified to get into senior high school.
So
the distinction now.
Well, so per your description of those who qualified, what aggregate are you talking about here?
There are people who are 37 and they qualified, but they cannot get the policy. It's about the policy. The free senior high school is not targeting distinction students, but this is how they put it. We're giving an aggregate. If you don't get that aggregate, we'll not give you the policy. This is my problem. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I hope you understand it now.
Yeah, I'm getting it gradually. But then, what would you suggest for the future amendments that we can do to sustain this particular program?
I think that there are a lot that has to be done in order to be able to sustain this program. Anything that comes free comes with a cost. Now, the first thing is whether we will have quality education for the students. In the first place, look at the aspect of the free education and which particular grade or group of our school system is affecting. It's affecting senior high school. And senior high school, these are students after their qualification, after their school, they get into university. So if it's free for those who are now going into university, and these people don't get the best tuition, because it's free, then it's going to be like what happened in the olden days of Form 5 crossing 6th form. People who were in Form 5 could not qualify, and we had a lot of dropouts. So what it's going to mean is that if we don't take care, there's going to be a lot of dropouts. Because the students are heading towards university. And if they are not given proper training and it's free and they don't get proper training, then I bet you it's not only going to be financial issues, but also academically it's going to affect a lot of students. And many will not be able to get into the university because of the policy. So what is so important here is to have enough resources, enough learning materials, enough teaching materials. I know classrooms, maybe the former president and his government were able to put about 123 senior high schools. That will at least boost the movement a bit. But the classrooms alone will not determine your qualification into the university. It's part of, but how is it going to happen? What is going to happen in terms of materials for the students? Their books, their textbooks, is it all going to be free? And when it's free, the teachers, are they going to be properly paid to motivate them to be able to give their best to these students? So it's not just a simple package like people see it and happy and jumping around and saying it is good. It's good. But what initiatives have we put in place to make sure that this sustainability is accomplished?
But the president outlined some of these initiatives that you are talking about, especially the financial sustainability.
I think government has not put enough resources now to be able to move it in the right direction now, because it's a challenge. They have now started. It is when they get in further, then they will get to know the financial aspect of it. But I don't know what their financial strength or the amount of money they are voting for such a policy. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt. All we can say now is that they should do it properly and make sure that it doesn't come to hit us back like a tsunami. You understand? So let's be very careful. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be that cheap. It's not just a propaganda. No. Or it's not just fulfilling a campaign promise. Because this has something to do with the country's national security. When it hits the students, then we are doomed. Don't forget, it is our students that we have put in the line. The students of the future leaders. Are you getting what I'm saying? So let us not rush and do things that because it's a campaign promise, we want to fulfill it at all costs and then ignore the implications.
Are we rushing to implement this program?
I think so. I think so.
What makes it a rush?
Rushing to implement it because it's a campaign promise. You can make campaign promises that you want to do APC. When you get to it and you find there are difficulties in it, don't be too shy to explain to government your blueprint about it and say to the nation and say, look, we want to do it, but at the moment these are the challenges we are having. The nation should understand it will take time for us to be able to mobilize A, B, and C to sustain it and have the best of it. It is the education that we want, but not just because it's free, but the quality. Very important, very, very important, quality education. Because I have been talking about changing of curriculum of education. Are we looking at that? Because look at where we are now. Our students come out and they become avoidable graduates. They're being avoidable anywhere they go because they don't have the requisite knowledge or talent that links to industry that we want to have in this country. Because we train students just to learn and pass. And when they come out, they are not creative, they are not innovative. They go around looking for jobs in places like MTN, Glow, and many other things. How can you be a graduate and then you come out and you're looking for a job when you yourself should be creating jobs? Are we looking at all these things together? Are we looking at issues of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics? Are we linking our curricula to industry? Have we looked at all these things? So it's a whole lot of issues that we need to take our time as a nation and look at it, because don't forget, it's not just any campaign promise of giving some group of people some resources to start business. No, this is about the future of Kenyan leaders and our society.
So, has those challenges an overwhelming, to the best of your understanding?
Anyway, I am not part of the policy think tank of the Ghana, what do you call it, this free senior high school. But I think that they ought to sit and discuss it thoroughly with Ghana Education Service, teachers, and many others. They shouldn't just look at it like I said. Because for me, I think there are issues. There are very serious issues. Very overwhelming issues. Very.
Well, and during the launching to the president indicated that, yes, we may not falter, but by the grace of Almighty God, we shall not fall. For we will be ready in all humility to accept input and criticisms aimed at improving the policy. What do you make of it?
Yes, it's a good thing. But you see, if you don't know how to swim, you don't just jump into a river and say that it might not be deep. So I can probably, if it's deep, whatever, if it is too deep, can you swim? You get to the middle of the water and it's too deep and you can't swim. Are you going backward or forward? So some of these comments.
Now, what would you suggest for its political sustainability?
That's what we just said. From our side, this is how we think. And its political affiliation or its political sustainability would depend on the kind of resources, the kind of ideas we're all bringing on board, the truth of the matter, not just it being a campaign promise. You understand? That's all I'm talking about. Politicians say a lot of things, but it takes time to put it the right place and make sure that it's sustainable. Campaign promises might be good, but the implementation is the most important aspect of it. Is it properly done? At the right time? Have you put enough resources or structures to be able to integrate it into the system? If you not put enough resource or infrastructure to be able to integrate it into the system, then don't rush. Don't rush. Just don't, because it's going to hit you and it will hit you so bad that you can't stand it. And it becomes very difficult for another political party to make it work. Are you getting what I'm saying? Or to make such promises in the future.
Others too are suggesting that we should legislate law. That would be an entrenched, law in our status book, so that it can protect and sustain it eternally. Would you agree with those suggestions?
We have put laws in this country. Why do you think we are where we are? Because people break the laws and do not even think about these laws, and they walk away, get away with it. And we have strong men and strong institutions. We should have strong institutions working, but they don't work. We, the politicians, we are the people who destroy all these policies we put. We sit, drink coffee, and implement policies and laws to work. But we, the same people who implement these policies, we go ahead to break them first. If we talk about corruption today, the corruption starts from the seat of government. This corruption doesn't just start from people who market women. If we're talking about all the institutions that have disgraced and put Ghana where it is today, it is the institutions that are given the mandate to manage this country well. These are the same institutions that have destroyed the country. So for me, leadership is important, not the policies you put and people disregard it and walk away with it. We have all these policies in place. What have we done so far? How has it integrated into the system to help us? Nothing. Because we think we are powerful as politicians, so we do things and get away with it when we are the same people who are supposed to emulate leadership and do the right thing and make sure that we are punished ourselves when we go contrary to the laws. We break them every day and call ourselves honorables. Where is the honorable attached to a lawbreaker? How can you attach honorable to somebody who breaks the laws he or she has been part of setting up those laws?
So you are suggesting that even though if we made the law, we made it an entrenched, we put it an entrenched position in our statute books, yet being enforcing it will be a problem. Is that what you are suggesting?
We don't implement them. We just say it. We put them. We sit with the right people and set the laws, but we walk away, and the next thing we do is to break those laws. So until we change our mind, our attitude, the way we think, the way we do things, and begin to understand that nobody is coming to salvage us, until we begin to think like human beings, do things like people, patriotic citizens, and believe that even if my party leader is wrong, he's wrong. If my party leader abused power, he has abused power and must be sanctioned. If a member of my party go contrary to the law, must be punished. Then we will begin to believe in laws, and then when we continue to put better policies and laws, it will work for us.
Well, as some Ghanaians are exacerbated, thinking that the implementation is discriminatory, would you side with them? Because it doesn't cover the continuous students.
That's what I'm saying. You see, when you start something and you want to implement it, you need to take a thorough look at it very well. Because once you say it's free, then those who are already in SS3, SS2, should start enjoying the benefits of it. And you get what I'm saying? Because you say it's free. You cannot say you are in class 1 because I said it's free for those who I came and met when I became president. They are supposed to benefit. What about those who are already in the system? Are they not Ghanaians? Is the national cake not supposed to help them too? Are their parents not paying taxes? Are they also not part of Ghanaian students? So those who got 37 that are not allowed to have free senior school, what happened when they get into senior high school the first year and they click and then they are the best students in the classroom? Well, are they also going to continue getting the free senior school, or they also be taken out again because the first entry into the senior school, the policy did not capture them as free students? What happened to those students? For instance, if I have a child who got 37 and then I pay his school fees and he gets into the free senior high school now, is he a free senior high school student when he becomes the first student in class in the first year and going to the second year? Those who got 16 and 17 are now getting bad grades. If those students become doctors and become engineers tomorrow to head our country, are they not going to be scrap their privileges and say, because you did not get a senior high school support, I'm not going to work for Ghana government? I'm going to walk away and go to a different place and serve. These are things we need to think.
Well, before I leave you, let me take you back to the qualification. With all uncertainties, where do you want us to place the margin of the minimum qualification?
Any that is qualified to enter free senior high school, the aggregates should, all Ghanaian students should have free senior high school. It's a policy for students, for Ghanaian students. It did not say distancing students. When we do it that way, like I said, it's a scholarship. It's not a free senior high school.
So whether aggregate 50, whether aggregate 50 or 57?
If aggregate 50 by our law, you can go into the free senior high school and you are admitted.
But ever since the margin has been placed at aggregate 36, that you and I know.
But there are people who are 37, they are in school. And they have been posted to schools. I have a lot of them. I just told you that yesterday I got a lot of students coming with 37, and they were crying that they were denied the free senior high school. They need school fees. Are they not going to school? Are they not part of the students of senior high school? Because they are 37. So the policy only targets only students with distinction, and it's a scholarship, not a free senior high school. To me, if it works that way, then it's a scholarship.
Well,
are you getting what I'm saying? Because go to the other schools. just send your team to go to and interview students who are 37, 38 and are qualified to be in the senior high school, and ask about their also clear different views about it. But the schools have given them admission letters to come to school.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm saying? They have 37, but they've been given admission letters. So why would the government say they are not part of the free senior high school?
All right.
Then, are you getting what I'm saying? Why the students have been admitted into the school by Ghana Education Service, and they are allowed, they've been given letters of admission, and then you deny them because they have 37. Then you are only doing a policy of what do you call it, scholarship free senior high school, not free senior. Like those days, those who are discussing that scholarship to go to abroad to study, those who are this, they are Ghana government picking the same policy. That is not the free senior high school policy.
Okay. Anyway, Hassan. Okay, I do. Hassan, thank you very much for speaking to us on Neat and Repoint tonight.
And good morning. Okay.